thanks again for joining us today on the Weed Generation channel. This is Brian and Scott. Today we're joined by Jeannine, Bryant with Changing Spaces here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And the reason that we asked Jeannine to come on today is we've had some questions and emails and phone calls in regards to questions generated about when a person gets to the point where they are not able to stay in their home any longer. What happens at that point? Are there services or things out there that enable a person to make that move? So thanks for being on today.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we'll kind of get right into it. Wanted to, again, Jeannine is here to kind of guide us through some of these answers to some of these questions that we had from viewers.
Yep.
And so I'll just start right in. One of the main questions that came up came from a viewer, said, is relocating different for a senior as compared to relocation when we're younger? Absolutely. When we move when we're younger, how is that different than what a senior goes through?
Absolutely. So we help folks who are going through that moving process, and lots of times they're downsizing. So they're going from maybe 3,000 square foot house down to an 800 square foot apartment. And so I think that that's one of the major reasons why moving when you're a senior is more difficult than when you're younger, because you're faced with letting go of a lot of your possessions, which is not an easy thing, and we understand that. Of course, just the logistics, the physical aspects of moving, even the mental, there's lots of decisions to make, so those things can be really taxing on a senior, certainly, and that's one of the reasons why moving when you're a senior is, it's a lot more than a move, and we really find that with our clients, this is a time of transition in their life. A lot of our clients, they know this might be one of their last moves that they make, quite frankly. And there's a lot of emotions that come up with that. They're maybe leaving a home where they raised their family, their children. They're leaving a home that they've lived in for 30 or 40 or sometimes even 50 years. So there's a lot that goes along with that.
A lot more emotion involved, and because of just the amount of time typically.
Right.
Yep. Okay, is another question, what types of things are most important for seniors to be able to take with them when they move? Have you found, is there generally things that they say, typically you've found these are things that seniors just flat out will not give away. They will not let go of.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there are, it's the memory clutter, we call it, the stuff that has those memories attached to it, and maybe family mementos that it's really hard to let go of because they don't really know. Maybe they know that it's not practical for them to keep it, but they can't imagine giving it away or selling it or donating it. Of course, this generation that's moving, every generation has a big set of wedding china, and sometimes 2 or 3 sets of wedding china. And the truth is, they don't use it anymore. Their kids don't use it. Their grandkids don't use it. And
they haven't used it in a long time.
They haven't used it in a long time, absolutely. And if they're moving to a place where they can't bring the nice big china hut that they have, sometimes they're faced with letting go of that set of china, and that can be a difficult thing because that was a big purchase for them at the time. That really used to mean something, that set of china, when they got married. Some other things that we run into certainly are photo albums, old home movies. People have the old reel-to-reel 9mm movies.
Those are probably good Christmas.
Yeah, even the VHS movies, and those can be hard. I mean, certainly they don't want to just give them away, and so we're lucky. We've been able to find some local resources and even some national resources that we can guide our clients to, where you can get some of that switched over digitally, so it takes up less room. But it's lots of times it's the clutter that has memories associated with it that's really hard for people to let go of. That's the hardest.
Yeah. Do you see, one of the things that we talk about, of course, is educating the younger generations or other generations with respect to this. Do you see this senior population valuing significantly different things overall than the younger, maybe the millennial, 20s and 30-year-old?
I do, yeah. You know, something that we find really interesting is that, you know, a lot of our clients say, I grew up during the Depression, or my parents grew up during the Depression, and we just didn't throw things away, and we were taught not to get rid of things. And boy, it's just different nowadays with this generation. It used to be that you had to be rich to own a lot of things. That's not really the case anymore, right? We can go to Walmart and we can fill up our cart for $50, right?
Yeah,
So we find that that the older generation is a lot less likely to let go of their things, and the younger generation, you know, they've been raised in a more of a disposable economy where, you know, you buy things and things aren't really meant to last. And you don't buy a piece of furniture and keep it for 40 years. A lot of our clients, you know, they bought their house, and lots of times they stayed in that house for 30 or 40 or 50 years. Nowadays, of course, people upgrade their house every 10, 15 years, you know, sometimes even less than that. So we do find that there is quite a difference.
Do you find that the families want to be, the younger generation wants to be involved in the move? In that particular downsizing? Or
Sometimes,
not? Okay.
sometimes. You know, and every
All right.
family's different. And I always tell our clients, when you do have family members who want some of your things, you know, be grateful, be thankful for that, because
Okay.
not everyone does. Some people have grandchildren who are happy to take their wedding china, or happy to, maybe sometimes they've got a grandchild who's setting up their first apartment or their first home. And we always say, great, now's the time to give them some of those things, like your extra beds that you don't need anymore, some of that extra furniture, help them get started. That just makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
But then there are lots of family situations, my own included, where, you know, the senior is moving, but the kids and the grandkids, they've got full houses already, right? And so they don't need a whole lot of extra
Anymore.
furniture. And something that we try to really drive home with our clients is that people's memories of you aren't necessarily going to be tied to your stuff. So if your kids and grandkids don't necessarily want a lot of the objects from your home, it doesn't mean that they don't love you, and that doesn't mean that they're not going to remember you when you're gone. You know, people lots of times think, oh, I want this crystal vase to go to my granddaughter because I want her to remember me by it. She's going to remember you because of all the times you baked cookies together, from the photographs you have, not from a crystal vase, probably. So.
Yeah. I know it's, we've had this question in with regards to other parts of the aging in place process, or this continuum. A question came up, which I guess is obviously is a really important one. When is there a right time for family members to talk with mom and dad or grandpa and grandma about it's time to move, or are you seeing, that was kind of the question, so is there a right time? And then the additional, I guess, question for me would be, are you seeing folks are really making their own decision, or they need to be pushed sometimes?
Yes to all of that. You know, every family is different. We work with a lot of seniors who have made that decision themselves. When I started in this business 6 years ago, I thought we were going to be dealing with a lot of children of seniors, you know, calling us, making the arrangements. And really, the majority of our clients approach us themselves, and they've made the decision. You know, a lot of these retirement communities, the independent living ones, they're gorgeous. And the apartments they offer, the amenities they offer, and people are really choosing to make that move while they're still physically fit and able to enjoy some of that lifestyle, the resort lifestyle, a lot of the places call it. But then certainly there are other people, my own father included, who says, you know, I'm going out of here one way, and that's horizontally, right? And that's fine too. You know, what I try to tell our clients and people who contact us is that, boy, you can't make them do something that they don't want to do. And if you do make them do something they don't want to do, it's probably not going to be a great situation. And I understand sometimes for their own safety, you need to get them out of their own house and into a safer environment. But boy, it's a lot harder. So I say approach that subject early and often, you know. And lots of times holidays, Christmas is coming up, that's a great time when everyone's gathered together just to start talking about it, and maybe even if you could get them interested in going and having lunch at one of these retirement communities, going on a tour, no pressure, but you know, I always say it's kind of like visiting college campuses. Every retirement community is different, it's got a different feel, and you have to see which one feels right to you. And if you go on the tours and you ultimately decide that it's not for you, then that's fine too, you know. So I say early and often, just start talking about it, and you really can't start too early.
But
And
have that conversation.
have it,
Yeah.
absolutely, have it gently. Yeah, so.
So a lot of what you do is you're really bearing a lot of the stress burden. As your
Absolutely,
company
yeah.
is
Yeah,
saying,
we try to.
listen, we will do everything that we can to try to relieve the stress. So again, you can be son, daughter,
Yeah,
granddaughter,
Yeah.
or grandson, and then we'll take all of that.
Do the things they need to
absolutely,
do.
yes, absolutely. You know, we try to enable the family members to take care of the senior themselves and let us take care of the stuff or the logistics of all of this. Absolutely. So at Changing Spaces, we will help folks sort, we'll help them make the decisions, we'll do all the packing, we're there on move day, we do all the unpacking. And then after they've moved, we'll help them clear out whatever's left. We'll sell it, we'll donate it, we'll clear out the house so that it can go into the hands of the new owners. So.
That's great. Thanks for that. Is, you know, as we look at where we move as a nation, I think overall we're not as close as we once were. Kids are moving further away, and that's a stressful situation.
Absolutely, and we work with a lot of kids who live out of state, and it's so nice to be able to communicate via email with them, just to let them know, hey, we were over at your mom's house today, we sorted through some things, here's how she's feeling, here's the feedback that we're getting. And we're really able to kind of take the stress away and know that, you know, someone is taking mom or dad by the hand, and we are leading them through that process start to finish. We're not going to leave them until they're in the new place, settled, and we've got everything accomplished that we need to.
Very nice.
So.
Great. That's great service and great information. I really appreciate you being here today and on the channel, being able to answer the question that viewers have. Again, we thank you for being here.
Yep, and if they want to contact you, who do they call?
Our phone number is 402-483-0555. We're Changing Spaces SRS. The SRS stands for Senior Relocation Services. And we also have a website, that's www.changingspacessrs.com. And we're also on Facebook and Instagram, so you can check us out there as well.
Great. Well, again, thanks for joining us today. Thank you especially to Jeannine Bryant with Changing Spaces. Again, if you'd like to reach out to us, if you have a question about this specific show or a comment, or you want us to address another issue, go ahead and give us a call at 402-413-0221, or send us an email at weavegeneration@gmail.com. And again, we're trying to read the generational gap to further understand the roles that we play as a functional nation. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thank you.